Alrighty, so the record button is hit. We're going. Hopefully there won't be any more audio issues. And hopefully we'll be good to go. Alrighty. Stream the machine. Let's see, is this up here? Okay, here we go. There's a little bit of a long intro, but Stream the Machine episode 47 starts now. I'll explain this after it happens, because you might be confused for a moment, but here we go.
Stream the machine, 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 machine.
Stream the machine.
Stream the machine. Stream the machine.
We are
1 month. Oh gosh, hold on, let me count it out. I want to be sure. Yep. We are 1 month exactly away from our 50th episode. 50th episode. And our 1 year anniversary. It's the two big numbers lining up onto one.
And our 1 year anniversary. And our 1 year anniversary. And our 1 year anniversary. And our 1 year anniversary.
And our 1 year anniversary. And our 1 year anniversary. And our 1 year anniversary.
Stream the machine.
When I felt him, they were perfect.
You are listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the nighttime version of Stream the Machine, which only happens once in a while when we miss a show on the weekend. Episode 47. I am your host, Jake Mercer, as always. With me, as also most always, is Tony DePalma. Tony, how you doing today?
Doing good. It's finally, in the 50s, and it's freaking me out. It's so nice.
Yeah, it looked, I could see, the brightness in your room. I was like, damn, it looks better than what it normally does. I guess usually on Saturday mornings you might have the shades closed. But... Oh, yes, that's true. It looks very overcast here because it is. It's been raining all day. But it isn't. It's like 64 or something, so it's at least warm. So I mentioned on a show ago or something. I think it was one show ago that I had the opportunity, or I'm going to have the opportunity to write some music with a fellow that I work with who does mostly electronic stuff, and he was like,
"Is that him?"
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, can you send me raw vocal files from one of your songs? I want to do a remix." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll get to it." And then I never got to it. So he was like, "Well, I just ended up taking clips from your podcast." And he's like, "So I made this." So he just made that out of nowhere, which is pretty funny. Oh crap, hold on. So I've got another one too. He sent me. I'm not going to play this one because it's a bit long. Let me play a little bit of it, and you might laugh when you figure out what part of what podcast this was from.
Compare the benefits of chocolate versus ice cream. I'm going to go with ice cream. Would you rather have ice cream?
45% of those people are crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna skip it.
Sounds like... Oh, that sounds like how I would imagine
ice cream.
Being super... Just tripping.
Oh, yeah. So, hold on, we'll skip ahead here to the...
People crazy.
Whoops, hon.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
I think there's a small drop here, maybe? It's nothing crazy. I think it gets a little busier. And I don't know what the percentage was, but that keeps cracking me up. But yeah, so he's had some fun with our sound bites from the podcast, but I'm excited because I've actually... Oh, let me turn the jazz back on. I've heard some of his other music. It's actually really great stuff. I actually, you know what? I told him I'd play one of his songs on the show. In fact, this weekend we talked about trying to get something out of that YouTube clip you sent me from your performance. Maybe I'll mix and match and have you and the other guy have one of his stuff played on the show. Because it's great music. I'm sure both of them are great songs. And it will be fun to do. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that because he went through the trouble of making them. And so I was like, I'll play it on the show.
My first thought was... because Gray made our usual intro song.
He did,
right?
yeah. So our original, yeah.
My first thought was that he just got bored and made something
Yeah.
else.
No, this is a totally different guy, and he's his stuff's pretty good. I've actually been in talks with him a little bit about some other ideas I'm not going to divulge on the show just yet. So
secrets.
Secrets. We'll wait to see what comes of that. First and foremost, go check out iTunes. Give us reviews, even if you don't use iTunes. Give us reviews anyways. Actually, it's probably difficult if you don't use iTunes because you don't have an iTunes account or maybe don't want to log into yours. So then I'll give you the excuse of not doing it there. But if you listen to us on iTunes or have an iPad or an iPhone or any kind of iDevice, feel free to leave us reviews there. Rachel's been out of town since Sunday. First of all, let me update on what happened on Saturday. So we were supposed to work. And I was telling you guys on and off, hey, okay, we're going to work, and now I don't think we're going to have to work. Okay, now we actually have to work again. No, I don't think we're going to have to work. Okay, wait, they said we have to work now. And so I just was like, you know what? I can't, I don't know what's happening anymore, so I think we have to work. So let's call it off. Well, and then we didn't have to work. So it's a whole mixture of just like WTF. So that is why Saturday's show got canceled. Not because any of us couldn't particularly make it. It was unforeseeable events of, normally I don't have to work Saturdays. And, if I'm actually hourly, so I'm not contracted to, but my boss was going to be out of town. Yeah. So I was like, I probably should come in. But then we ended up not having to, and it kind of made me angry. But I guess at least it was kind of nice to relax Saturday, even though I wasn't all that relaxed because I was kind of pissed of all that crap going on. Anyways, so Rachel's been out since Sunday. I've been fending for myself, having very light dinners, which is it's beneficial on this whole diet plan. I've had a lot of fish. We're out of fish now. Trying to think what I'm going to eat tonight. We had some chicken parmesan left over, which isn't exactly low on calories or carbs, but it in low amounts, it's okay, I imagine. The chicken's not too bad. The pasta is probably what would throw me off, but might have some chow mein or something tonight. Some eggs. But that's what I got in store for me. She's down in Florida for spring break right now. So her and some friends decided they were going to go down and visit. Or not visit, but I guess chill. I don't know. Visit Florida. Yeah. Have a vacation. She said they got the Naples today. I don't know where that's at.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know if that's coastal or what the deal is. Maybe they've got nice weather enough to visit the beach down there. But that is where she's at. I don't know when she gets back. I assume it's this weekend, but I honestly don't know. Yeah, I don't think she told me, but I imagine she'll probably get back on Saturday, maybe even Sunday, which will be exciting. My sleep schedule always gets thrown off when she's gone. I think I mentioned it the last time that she was out of town. Is I just have the craziest sleep schedule. So, for instance, this week, Monday night, I stayed up super late. Well, so Tuesday I was kind of up late. Went to bed though. Woke up next day, went to work, come home, and I'm like, damn, I'm tired. But you know what? I'm interested in movies tonight. I'm not going to play any games. I'm just going to watch movies. So that's what I did. I sat down, and I guess I'll.
Which movies?
Let's see. I'm trying to decide how I want to attack this. I'll save the tattoos thing for last. We'll talk about that last. We'll segue into movies from here. So, anyways, first one I watched was The Crow, which was, I thought, amazing. I've never seen The Crow, and I always was really worried that it would be a little too old for my taste. Given I've seen movies from the 80s that I've been like, wow, that's a great movie, but The Crow, I just was like, oh, it's supposed to be kind of an action film, 90s action, it was kind of cheesy at times. until you hit the Matrix, and that's barely considered the 90s because that was 99. And that was really sort of the age of where action started to get awesome. But I watched The Crow, and it's, part of the reason I really enjoyed it is it's just got a very gothic feel to it. It's very dark. It's the guy, so it's about a guy who, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's the whole premise for the film.
The movie's over 15. If the movie's over 15 years
Right.
old, if the movie's over 5 years old, honestly, I don't
Right.
think,
I've
you're worried about spoilers. You're like 5
well,
years.
it's
too late.
sometimes depending on how big of this, the thing I'm about to say, most people would probably go, "Oh my god, spoilers!" But it's the premise of the film, so you're going to find it out in the first 5 minutes, anyways.
Yeah.
The guy it's about a guy and his girlfriend. He's a musician in a band, plays in like a grunge band, and they both get like brutally murdered the night before Halloween. And I guess this whole thing is this crow comes back. The crow doesn't come back. The crow's alive, but the crow will bring back people that have been like just ripped away, that were like are in unrest, like loved each other so much and were torn apart kind of thing. And so this crow resurrects this guy, the guitarist, the dude who died, to come back and wreak vengeance on everyone that killed him and, all the gang members that caused that night so many years ago, or how many, I think it's about a year actually. But so the whole movie is him now is this crow, and since he's was grunge guy and everything's already kind of dark and whatever, he puts on this tight leather pants and the shirt, and has this black tape over his arms. So he's got this goth kind of thing going on, big trench coat, and then takes white powder, rubs it all over his face, and then takes black lipstick and does his lips and kind of does a Joker smile almost, and then does lines over his eyes, so he just kind of looks like this kind of Joker type character, and kills everybody. Just the rest of the movie is him hopping in a room, quoting poems, and then being and he can't die. The premise is at least that for the most part he's impervious, and so people will be like, "F this dude," boosh, doosh, doosh, and shoot him, and then he just takes it and he's just looks back up and he's like, "Was that supposed to hurt?" That kind of weird toying with people thing, because they screwed up his life, right? So I highly recommend it. It's got a little bit of Nine Inch Nails in there. It's got a little bit of every other kind of dark thing that you can think of, and it's funny. It's not really funny, but he's it's as if you imagine the Joker.
Brutal murder.
It's as if you imagine. It really is awful when you find out how they killed the wife. You're like, oh god, that's terrible. But it's as if the Joker was a good guy who came back and just basically was an omen of vengeance, killed people that were bad people. And at first I kind of thought oh, is he going to come back and do the Batman thing, I've been wronged, but I'm not going to wrong you because that would make me bad. Nope, he's just going to kill people, and that's what makes it so awesome. And it's really great. It's really cool. The sad news is that Brandon Lee is the character is the guy who played the Crow, and he's Bruce Lee's son. He died on set while filming because
I didn't know that.
One of the scenes, it was the way, so they had they rounds that they would shoot, right? And then in certain scenes, or in certain, practices, they would fill, they would put a little tiny paper ball or something in there and shoot that instead, or what, I don't know. It was a weird thing, but they had the dummy round that shot, but never, the casing, never, unloaded. So then when they put the powder in and got the gun ready to shoot so it would have a flash, they shot the scene where he actually is the flashback of him dying in the movie, and they shot the scene, and the guy, there was a weird changing of shifts of people working on the things, and the prop guy was out for a day, so they had the second unit prop guy come in, and it was just a bad instance of somebody didn't know protocol, they didn't know to check the guns, they didn't know what they were doing before, and they shot it, and that casing that was still in there shot out because you had the gunpowder, and it lodged into his abdomen, and internal bleeding and everything, and they took him to the hospital, and he ended up dying. And it's really unfortunate because he kills that role, no pun intended. He destroys it. He's very good in that role. Now, I don't know if if any other movies he had ever done were any good, but you'll read a lot of, it's kind of like Heath Ledger in The Joker, right? Like, was he really good, or was he, is that role remembered because he died doing it? I really think that he was really great in that role. I don't think that role is something that is very good for other films necessarily, because it was a very theatrical role. It was one that if he was supposed to be playing a regular bad guy, you'd be like, wow, he's over the top. But but it just fit what he was doing. He's like, I'm back from the dead. I'm killing these dudes. I'm just gonna goof around and troll them and basically like freak them out, right?
Yeah, make them pee their pants before.
Right, and it's really sad to see, that he bit the dust on it, because it was such a good movie, and just the way it ends, and the whole like premise altogether of a guy being dead, coming back to get vengeance, and ultimately kind of having to return to the grave. It just leaves kind of a sour taste in your mouth to be like, oh shit, like he actually passed away on that. It's a very good movie. I highly recommend it. I then tried to start like 3 movies to no success. Like, didn't really enjoy any of them. I got like 5 minutes in and was like, I'm not really feeling the vibe of this. I'm sure they're good movies, but I don't even remember which ones they were. Then tried to watch a movie called Branded, which was not very good. I'm glad I watched it because I've...
Brandon or Branded?
Branded. It spent the first half of the movie, so it's about marketing and people who get marketed to, and how there's like a world of like deception behind it. And the first half of the movie is very realistic, very like showing this guy as he kind of lives his life being a dude who like makes commercials and movie trailers and markets to these people. And then the last half of the film, after he like loses his job, is about him like performing some crazy ritual. I can't remember how he comes about it. Oh, he sees it in a dream, and he performs this ritual. And when he comes back to Moscow, because that's where they were based out of, he starts seeing these crazy creatures everywhere. And it's like these parasitic creatures latching onto people that is like the branding. So like if someone's like...
Really?
So you'll see like a creature that's associated with like, let's say McDonald's. And then if they're like sucking on that dude's back and like growing bigger, you're like, oh, that dude's like craving McDonald's. That thing's like, influencing his opinion right now. And so the whole movie, like the end of the movie, is him like switching gears and being like, oh my god, marketing sucks, and trying to like shut down marketing. It wasn't a very good movie, but I was okay with it. I was glad I saw it, because even bad movies I'm usually glad that I see if they're mildly entertaining. And I feel like
which is why you don't ever watch any Marvel movies.
Those are different. That has to do with me just not really being interested.
As long as they're not mainstream, is what you're saying. As long as a lot of other people, yeah.
If no one's seen it, I'll watch the crap out of it.
I'll watch all the awful movies if no one's seen it. But if they make a lot of money,
I will say I would have rather to have watched a Marvel film than have watched Branded. I would have much preferred it. I actually probably would have rather watched a Marvel film than watch this next one. So I watched Snowpiercer. Which is a Korean film that is in English and has Captain America, speaking of which. Can't think of his name right now.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. I was going to call him Chris Pine. But it
Star Trek.
Definitely wasn't Chris Pine. Which, by the way, still a side note before we continue here. Unconfirmed rumors today that Chris Pine is the next Green Lantern.
Hal Jordan.
I could be okay with that, I guess. I feel like it would be all right. He's definitely got the face and the hair.
I want him to go Jon Stewart, but I'd be okay with Hal Jordan as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to see another Green Lantern. That way we're not like retreading ground. But
yeah.
Okay, so anyways, he's in it. Snowpiercer, End of the World. Basically, that story is about. Have you seen Snowpiercer?
I have.
Okay, cool. This will make great conversation then. End of the world. People. There was like a chemical that they released in the air to stop global warming, I think. Yeah, and unfortunately, it ended up doing the complete opposite and sending everyone into the next ice age. And so everyone hops on this train that some like big dude created that basically runs a lap around the entire world once a year, and everyone just lives on the train now. And they get their food there. They just live on the train because it's too cold to actually live outside. I won't really divulge much. The rest of it is about Chris Evans being in like the low part of the train and him trying to like
work his way to the front.
Yeah, basically what you do when you're in any kind of low class situation. You're like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm going to take care of this. And so the rest of this is it's not like, I don't know if it's crazy violent. I mean, it's kind of actiony and violent in some parts. It's not
It's not over the top.
Yeah,
I'd
it's not
say.
too bloody or anything like that. Very high reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I did not love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't think... I was shocked that the reviews were so high for it.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I enjoyed it up until... I'm just going to say right out, I'd hated the ending.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of like, what?
It for me.
Like that? Yeah, I didn't... I was kind of already lost at that point, but...
The whole thing was shot, like, of him trying to keep moving forward. Like,
Right.
every time there's a scene, like, every time it was, like, zoomed out of the train, I guess,
Right.
see him walking, like, laterally across the screen, it was always, the left side of the screen is back, right side is always forward.
Right.
It's always him trying to, like, he wants to go forward, but that's what's behind him is what keeps him, like, who he is.
Right.
Kind of. And as the farther he goes along, the further and further he drifts from who he was.
Right.
But
It was,
I liked it all. I liked most of it, and there's some corny lines I thought that I think wanted to have a lot of emotional impact, but just didn't.
Yeah, I particularly felt that way when he was trying to explain... Well, this is horrible for people who haven't seen the movie. Go watch Snowpiercer and then come back and listen to this episode. But at the end, he starts talking about the old man and how his limbs got to the way that they were. He's like,
Yeah.
I bet you can guess who that old man was. And I'm like, it just seemed like a very kind of cliche. I don't know. Like I said, the movie wasn't bad. I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know.
And it's like when he was like, "I know what tastes best."
Right.
That's paraphrasing. I was like, okay.
Yeah, like it did seem like there were a few parts that were just like a little bit too much. Like, oh, I've already seen this. I thought, or and that's kind of the same way for a lot of movies, but. I don't know. It was the guy's. So it's like a Korean director and probably writer. First English film he did. Someone told me that they thought the movie probably would have been better if it was just Korean, and because they didn't think that white people can do like that weird, quirky type of movie. And I don't know. There might be something to that because I've seen the other movie that the guy did, The Host, and not the Stephanie Meyer, The Host, but. He did another movie called The Host that was very good, very entertaining, and that was also kind of goofy and weird, and also a little bit of horror in there. I don't know. It's a movie that I'm not disappointed that I saw, but I don't know if I'd actually recommend. Despite it having a 95% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if I'd recommend it to anybody, because I just didn't...
Snowpiercer or The Host?
Snowpiercer. The Host is also highly rated, but Snowpiercer is 95% when I looked on Monday.
Seriously, that's like super high.
It is very high. That's higher than I think probably most Marvel movies that have come out. I don't know what the Avengers sat at, but
it is. Wow.
Yeah, it's very high.
I mean, granted, that's just 95% of the movie. 95% of the people who saw it,
right? Which
thought it was good. It doesn't mean they thought it was a 9.5 out of 10.
That's true. They all could have been like, well, it's passable. And that gives them that's true. You do have to take into account that the way Rotten Tomatoes works is it's not an actual 9.5 out, or
it's either a
10
thumbs
out of 10.
up or a thumbs down, basically.
Yeah.
Still, it's really high.
It does seem pretty high. So I just kind of chalked that up to, I don't know. I guess I just don't get it. But so that was Monday. Stayed up super late. Okay, so that was like 3 o'clock. And then I come home last night, and I'm like, I probably need to sleep. Played a little bit of DC Online. Played for like an hour, and I'm like falling asleep while I'm playing. So I'm like, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to take a nap. So I end up crashing at like 7 o'clock until about 1 in the morning, maybe 2 o'clock. And I got up for maybe an hour, played DC again, and then went back to bed because I didn't feel like I needed to stay up all night. And so now I'm at the point, like I'm here, I'm like rejuvenated now. I think I'm back. I'm okay at the moment. I don't know how late I'm going to be up tonight, but I am ready. I'm going to shower after this. I'm going to play some more DC Online, and that's that. Tell me about Whiplash, because I do want to know about this. I've heard about it.
Do you
I know what it's.
Do you know what Whiplash is?
I
Have you
barely
seen trailers or anything.
I know that it's J. Jonah Jameson yelling at some dude to get better at drumming. That's all I know.
Miles Teller plays a guy who gets into, I don't know the name of the school. I don't even know if it's a real school, but like
Harvard.
one of the top like music schools in the country.
Okay.
And he's like 19. And then J.K. Simmons, aka J. Jonah Jameson, is like super hard ass
Right.
music like instructor, like the jazz band.
Okay.
And it's like his group is like the best one. Like he's like that's the band you want to be in.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like J.K. Simmons is it's kind of a scary dude.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like
I do believe I saw a trailer, and yeah, definitely was kind of like, wow. I felt like that was going to be sort of a noteworthy role for him, because you see him be comically angry in Spider-Man all the time, but you know he's always joking around, and then you see him, you know, just like I said, just clips in that trailer, and you're like, ooh,
yeah,
he is.
And it's like
he's the real deal for this one.
I mean, one of the things that from the trailer, he has a quote. It's like, there are no two words worse for humanity than good job, or something like that. So he's like, I push people to be better than what is expected of them. And they're like, well, what if you'd like discourage the next big thing by pushing them too hard? He's like, well, the next big thing wouldn't buckle.
Right. See,
if they're really going to be the next big thing, they would be.
That's very interesting. See, and I'm that's the kind of vibe I got from it. It's very like tough love kind of thing going on.
Well, it's just there's no tough love. It's just tough.
There's no love.
There's no love in that movie at all. In this dude. It's just tough. And it's like it is super. I would recommend seeing it. Like I think this was it came out in 2014, and it was only in theaters just because like all the award nominations it got.
Sure.
And so it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna go watch it. I mean, I haven't worked at the movie theater in 3 months, but I still get free movies, which is nice.
That is nice. That's very nice.
Yeah. So I went and saw that, and it also made me feel insignificant as a drummer. Because the drumming in that is so good.
Yeah. So, shoot, what was I? Oh, I was actually telling Keith this the other night. On a somewhat of a similar note. I have not seen Good Will Hunting, and I'm afraid to watch it because I don't like watching movies about prodigies because it reminds me that I am not a prodigy and that I am not. Because Good Will Hunting is what? About a guy who doesn't go to college or has trouble in college, but he's just too freaking smart, right? Well, guess what? I dropped out of college because I'm too freaking dumb, and so I don't. As good as Good Will Hunting is, I'm always going to have that in the back of my mind while I'm watching it. Like, Matt Damon's just really smart, and I'm stupid as hell. And so it's going to taint my image. Now, a drumming movie I could watch because I'm a terrible drummer, and I'm okay with that because I wasn't a drummer. I'm even guitar. I'm not the greatest at, and I know it. So watching a good player, I can get behind that. But yeah, that's the unfortunate side effect of movies about like really good things is you're like, oh shit, I'm not that good. I will say though that probably did the guy actually play drums? Do you know if the actor who was the drummer actually played them?
He played 40% of the like what was actually played in the movie. He played like he played along to like tracks.
Sure. Okay.
Of like legit professional drummers.
Okay, I was gonna say because maybe
40% of what it shows him doing was actually him doing it.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, usually you get the dude that's like ghost playing on the piano or something. You're like, that dude's not playing nothing up there. But
like I could tell just because from playing drums, I could tell when he was actually playing and when he wasn't.
Sure. It's usually pretty noticeable if you've played an instrument to a certain
especially
extent.
with percussion because you can see his arm moving.
Right.
Like if his arm doesn't move, and
I heard that hi-hat. He didn't hit nothing.
Wait a minute.
Oh boy.
So, but still, it was like.
Does it push you to be a better drummer? Do you think it inspired you at all?
I mean, yesterday I ran I ran 4 miles, and then I was like, I'm just gonna do a drum solo for 25 minutes.
Okay. Wow.
So I just went out. Like, most of the time I just like put songs on my iPod and play along, but I was just like, I'm gonna go for it.
That's good exercise. Good exercise for you. Good way to practice and good way to keep motivated. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to grab it. Is it still in theaters?
Yeah. I mean, I saw it Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to the theaters in a while, so I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but usually I end up picking up new stuff when it goes to Amazon Prime. I just end up renting it for like $4 or whatever. So.
I'm pretty sure it's out on DVD already.
Oh, really? Then maybe I'll look at it. Let's see here. Let's type in Amazon.com. We'll type in Schwiplash. Schwiplash.
Yep.
So, hey, would you look at this? Whiplash is available for rental for $6. Wow, it's a little more expensive than most, but it also is still running in theaters. So, yeah, I might have to give that a look. Kind of scares me, though, because I imagine J.K. Simmons is awful in it, like in a very, like, just hardcore way.
And, like, he starts out, like, when he first talks to, like, the main character, Miles Teller's character, his name is Andrew in the movie. He's, like, all, like, talking all nice to him, like, finding out, like, about his family. And when they start playing, he's, like, everything he just, like, was talking about, he just, like, turns around and just, like, makes him feel awful about everything.
Oh, boy. That'd be a rough... it'll be an interesting watch.
Yeah.
So, I didn't notice it last month. I don't know why I didn't say anything. But we have another Friday the 13th coming up.
Yep.
It is this Friday.
February is 4 weeks long exactly.
That's interesting.
So if there's all the dates in February are going to be on the same day.
It's basic stuff like that would go completely over my head. I forget sometimes that February has 28 days because I just don't think about it. So yeah, Friday the 13th, this Friday, apparently, and I don't know if it's every Friday the 13th or this one in particular, but apparently tattoo shops, at least in Richmond, do this thing they call Friday the 13th bangers. And what they do is they have like a little pre-made pamphlet, booklet, whatever, of tattoos that they will do that are kind of, sometimes they're themed, I think, to the Friday the 13th theme, sometimes they're not. And you go in there, it's a little small something. You go, I want this in the middle of my back or wherever.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, cool. And I don't know how long it takes, but $13. Super cheap tattoos. So I am considering, because I don't have any tattoos and I wanted to get one for the longest time. I'm at least going to go and walk around and I know my buddy is actually getting tattoos done that night. And so he wants to hop around the tattoo parlors. And he's got like full sleeves, and so he actually knows a lot of the guys locally and is pretty friendly with them. But I think he, myself, and then the guy that I went to the convention with, I think we're all going to go around Friday night, maybe go to a bar, and then just kind of browse around. And if there's something I like, I'm going to consider getting a tattoo, because I've never gotten one, and I want to start. My problem is I've got these ideas, but I think, oh shit, that's going to cost like $200. Like, so I don't want to do it, right? Well, here, he's like, it's $13, you usually do $20, because you give him like a bit of a tip, especially with as small of a thing is. So he's like, you pay $20 for a small tattoo, get it anywhere you want. So he's like, you get it on the, just get it somewhere secret and dumb or whatever, and you never have to look at it if you don't want to or something like that. But I was like, well, if I could find something that's cool, so that's what I'm doing, is I'm going to go. If I think I find something cool, and I don't think I'm going to regret it entirely, then I will look into getting a tattoo. It's going to be. He said they're super small, and he's like, I got a Pokeball on like the under of my arm once, so it seems like they're pretty basic, small stuff that they build around that type of thing. So that is what I'll be doing Friday night. I'm kind of excited.
That's fun.
I don't know if I'll find something I like, but like I said, I want to get the thing started. I've wanted tattoos for a while, so I want to find something. Like, I want to, start it. And then you're like, okay, now I've got one. Now I can, start looking into others. I'm sure it's
like, I've been wanting another tattoo since I got my first one,
right?
Like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But-
I'm surprised I haven't. My mother must not be listening live because I have not gotten any text from her going, "Don't get a tattoo." Because my parents are not fond of tattoos, mostly for business reasons. You know, if you get tattoos, then you have to now worry about what jobs you can work.
See, that's going downhill. Like, there's two of the guys on my team at Cat have tattoos on their forearms.
Right. And
Just wear polos.
I actually texted my old boss from Maui Gym and I said, "Hey, you know, I'm looking for some insight on this." I was like, "You're a businessman. You're freaking high up in a corporate company. What is your opinion?" And he's like, "Well, I can't really give you a fair opinion," because he goes, "Tattoos don't matter at Maui Gym." He's like, "Our rep for this company here," he's like, "has full sleeves." And he's our rep. He's the guy we send out to sell stuff. And he's got full sleeves. So he was like, I'm unfortunately not a very good indication, but he was like, you know, you do have to worry about it in some companies. Not all companies are Maui Gym. And, you know, it is true. The guy that I know that has the full sleeves that I work with, they just told him to wear a long sleeve shirt to work every day. Like, you know, when he works in the office, which obviously is not exactly ideal if you get an office job. But it's workable. It's workable to say, you know, yeah, I do have tattoos, but I can't cover them up. You know, if I get something this weekend, you know, can I cover it up with a watch? Is it going to be above or if I wear a short sleeve shirt? Now, given I work in a warehouse, so it doesn't matter. I can get full sleeves and I'd still keep my job. It's not what I'm going to be doing because that's expensive. But,
just get a full sleeve and a $13 tattoo.
You know, people do it. He told me people do it. I made the joke.
Collage.
I made the joke and he was like, he goes, "You wouldn't believe it, but people actually do that." So yeah, I do want to get it. I'm sure my parents will hate me for it. When I got my ears pierced, I got them pierced before telling my parents because my parents didn't want me to do that either. Fortunately for ear piercings, you can always take them out if you can't wear them at work. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. I'm not dumb. I've wanted tattoos for years. I even actually had my mother's blessing at one point. I wanted 9 Inch Nails tattooed across my back. And honestly, I kind of wish I still had gotten it, but I chickened out at one point. But she was like, "All right, you want a tattoo? We'll take you to get a tattoo. On the back, on the top of the back, it's an okay place to get it. We'll go get the quote, you know, whatever." And then I'd set up the date, and I never did it. But she actually was, like, totally cool with it at one point. I'm pretty sure I was probably, like, 19 years old at that point or something like that. It was a couple years ago. But
I have a quick question.
Go right ahead.
I guess about 9 Inch Nails. You seem like a person to ask.
Perhaps. I'm going to, like, if you ask me something I don't know, I'm going to fail horribly here, and they're going to be like, "Oh, he's never a fan."
This is kind of an abstract question.
Okay.
It's about the name. Is it 9 inch long nails, or is it just a bundle of 9 inch long nails?
You know, I don't know. And I've actually, people have asked that, you know, before. I've always assumed that they were nails that were 9 inches long.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing, is Trent's been asked in interviews before if it's any kind of biblical reference, because the nails that nailed Jesus to the cross were 9 inches long. At least that's the claim. And he says, like, yeah, I actually didn't have a clue. I just thought NIN was a cool logo. I don't think that's 100% true. But at the same time, he doesn't strike me as particularly religious. He's not anti-religious in any way, or anti-Christian in any way. But he does some edgier music, and not all of it has been, pro-Christian. Not all of it has been, like, anti-Christian either. So I think he probably thought, wow, that's kind of a cool name. You know, he may have heard about it or seen it or heard a biblical reference or something, and was like, 9 Inch Nails. Thought of the N, the I, and then the backwards N, thought it was going to be a cool logo, and went with it. It's very possible that he did that. I don't think that he didn't get the inspiration. It'd be very hard sell for me to believe that he didn't at least know or have heard that the nails that supposedly nailed Jesus into the cross were 9 inches long. Because why would you pick 9 inch nails, right? I mean, I guess because NIN is a cool logo. That was his thing. That was his thing. You know, because there's other things you could have picked, but yeah, he claims to just randomly come up with it and thought, and that was just one interview. Maybe he's like come years later and been like, "Oh yeah, I lied in that interview. Here's the real reason." But I haven't seen that interview yet, so I've only seen the one where he claims that it wasn't entirely religious. We have some cool news to talk about here. 2 things Apple related, and one thing kind of interesting Interestingly, on the side of a new network for receiving television, which I may be interested in. Actually, it's we'll talk about this here though in Page Not Found.
404 error. Page not found.
Okay, so have you heard? I don't know how much we've talked about it before. I think maybe once, but do you remember PlayStation Vue?
Yeah.
It was a TV streaming service that they were talking about. Well, that is about to launch. Let's see here. When did I say? 2 weeks. So it's about to launch in about 2 weeks. Sony is set to launch its PlayStation Vue internet TV service in the United States within 2 weeks. New York, Chicago, and Philadelphia are the first three cities. Damn it. So not me. Are the first three cities to receive the service. Access for the rest of the country is planned for the end of 2015. Sony Computer Entertainment President Andrew House, told the Wall Street Journal. A monthly subscription price for PlayStation Vue is still unknown. I'm sure it will exist, but PlayStation Vue will first debut on the PS4 and PS3 before heading to the iPad and unspecified non-Sony devices. Channels offered include, it doesn't say that these are only, but it says that they are included, CBS, NBC, Fox, FX, Comedy Central, and the Discovery Channel. Wow. While about 75 channels will be available, so clearly not all of them. There will be at least 70 more channels. The Dish-exclusive ESPN may not make it. House told Wall Street that he is very confident in the Vue's robust offering of sports channels despite this. In related TV streaming news, HBO recently unveiled the release date and price for its HBO Now streaming service. So here's my thing is I actually didn't think about it until just now. The only reason we don't currently own a cable service is because I in particular hate commercials. I will not subscribe to a cable service currently with my money because I do not want to support that model. I do not want to support the model of saying that you can show me a 45-minute show in an hour because 15 minutes of it is going to be straight you marketing crap that I don't care about. If they were maybe custom tailored, like here's video game ads or here's just straight movie trailers, I would be interested. But it's showing me things I generally don't care about, and I feel like it's just kind of a waste of time when there's so much more. When I can pop on Netflix and watch whatever I want commercial free. It's also why I haven't subscribed to Hulu. It's just a personal problem that I have. Now, Rachel doesn't have that problem. She watches Hulu, at least used to, for The Walking Dead, I believe. And I tried watching. I did a week of Hulu so I could watch a little bit of South Park before my friend legally ripped me the rest of the episodes. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand watching the episodes and having commercials pop up every 5 minutes and just interrupting everything that was going on. Sometimes it was 3 commercials, and I thought 3 commercials was obscene. And then I remember, oh wait, that's low end. If you're talking about Dish Network, you're gonna get 4 or 5 commercials. It's such a antiquated thing. I've been spoiled by Netflix and by being able to just order a movie off Amazon and watch it, that it just, I don't know, it doesn't appeal to me at all. So now that I think about this, even though I'm in huge support of PlayStation, if it's going to be live television, meaning
if it's CBS, it's going to be whatever CBS is airing.
Right. In which case,
CBS shows are built with commercials into it.
I don't know if I'm that interested in it anymore. I just don't like commercials, and it all depends. I'll tell you what, if they released it and they're like, all right, $30 a month, which I'm sure it's not going to be that cheap, but I would be like, okay, you know what, I'll consider it, because Rachel would want to watch crap, and I guess I would probably find something to watch on 75 channels. But I don't know, man. I just
see, for me, we dropped TV just because we don't want to pay for it,
right?
But for a show to end up on Netflix, it just the way the current model is, it has to air on TV first, usually,
right?
And I know a lot of great shows that have been axed because their viewership wasn't up, and the network was just we'll just cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen it, but Firefly.
Okay,
a lot of people were up in arms about that, and then I know you've been watching a bunch of. Have you been watching Justice League?
Yeah, so I've seen a couple episodes. I actually haven't gone as far into as I wanted because I've been playing too much DCU. But I have watched. I don't know, probably 5 or 6 episodes into it.
Okay. But there's, I guess, it's along those lines. But there's a show called Young Justice.
Okay.
Which is.
I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it though. I think it might also be on Netflix. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the first season is. And we were talking on Facebook about all these DC TV shows, and I completely spaced about this one. But it's an animated series, but I love it way more the Justice League show, honestly. Okay. It's like, it follows like younger heroes, but the first season is like when they're kids, and then the second season fast forwards like 7 years. It's like when they're in their 20s.
Right.
And that's when it gets like fairly darker in that second season.
Okay.
And then it sets it up for like a super awesome, like emotional season finale. And you're just like, I want more. And then I go to find out that there's never going to be any more. And it's like,
yeah, that's how Firefly was. I'll tell you what.
But
go ahead.
That was because they couldn't sell toys, which is what drove me nuts. It's because Cartoon Network couldn't sell toys off of that show.
That does seem like I mean, I guess I understand it from a marketing standpoint, but at the same time, it's like, well, damn it. So, yeah, and I mean, so I guess commercials probably add to the revenue that or help at least with because they're literally like sponsors for a show.
They're like how that show makes money.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I hate commercials. I hate just. I hate them on YouTube too, man. Like occasionally I'll get something on YouTube where I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I'll watch it. But that's one out of every like 100 things I've ever seen. Speaking on Firefly, I'll tell you why that got canceled. And that's the dumbest thing in the world. Joss Whedon writes the best show ever, and it's called Firefly. And he pitches it to Fox, and they're like, cool, we'll run this. And they take all the episodes, and they go, we like your 1 to 13 order here, but we're going to jumble it up. So they jumble up the entire series. People are dying in this episode, but then they're alive in the next one. That kind of thing. Because they play them out of order, and then when people didn't like the show, they go, guess we're going to cancel it. So they cancel the show. It eventually gets released on DVD. When it gets released on DVD, it becomes the highest selling DVD, like, for weeks. Like, when it finally gets released. Because people finally watch it, and they're like, oh my god, this is amazing. They come out with Serenity, the movie, which kind of ties everything up. Critically loved, but no one knew what Serenity was because hardly anyone at the time had seen Firefly. No one had heard of Joss Whedon. They weren't saying, hey, it's the next Joss Whedon movie. They go, oh, another sci-fi movie? Okay. And so, critically loved, doesn't make a ton of money. So kind of in the same boat of doesn't make enough, boom. So Serenity's gone. And then when Serenity gets released on DVD, becomes the highest selling DVD, and I believe the Blu-ray, I think when they made the Blu-ray, because that was only a couple years ago. Every time it gets released, it always takes the number one spot that week, and usually the couple following weeks, for the number one DVD/Blu-ray purchased, like those weeks. And it's such a great show. Now there's really no chance of it coming back because everyone's doing so many different things, but Fox screwed themselves over on that one. I'm sure they're kicking themselves in the face about that because as much, I mean, Joss Whedon's got a lot more traction now. I mean, writing Avengers and everything, and he's definitely much more of a name that people recognize. But Firefly was canceled for dumb reasons. It's an amazing show, and they got poorly received originally because Fox aired the episodes out of order, so they didn't make sense.
Are the DVDs in order?
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're in regular. They're just like you would if you watch the show. Now, here's the thing about Firefly is I hate watching it because I get depressed every time it's over. Every time I invest in it, there's only 13 episodes long. Every time I invest and I watch it, it's such a great show that when episode 13 comes around, and I think they knew it was going to be. They started some story arcs, and I think episode 13 might have been the one where they're like, "Oh shit, we have to close this. We're done. We got canceled."
Yeah.
And so 13 kind of abruptly ends everything, and that's why they did Serenity, was to sort of do like here's what's happening now, let's put the cap on it. And I saw Serenity first, was great. And it was great. I loved it. And because I saw Serenity, I was like, I now have to go back and watch Firefly. Loved that. Speaking of which, I saw today that there's a Kickstarter for Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk, who are the loud clanky noises in the background, who are two people who are on Firefly, who are doing a TV show based on two guys that were in a canceled TV show. I don't exactly know anything else except that was the article I saw that said that there was a Kickstarter for them to do a web series about two guys that were on a canceled TV show. And I think there could be a lot of fun to be had for him because Nathan Fillion is hilarious and Alan Tudyk is also very funny. So Alan Tudyk was actually mostly, well, I guess a lot of people were comedy relief from Firefly. It was the weirdest thing. Let's take a Western and then put it in space. Whoever thought that would have worked? And here's serious emotional moments, and here's comedy. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of like what Marvel does now. Is very like jumping around and mixing the comedy and doing all this other kind of stuff. For whatever reason, Firefly works for me. But it's good. It's good stuff. It's unfortunate that they got canceled, but I don't know. We'll have to see what the pricing is for this, because, you know, maybe this would be something Rachel will be interested in if it's cheaper than, you know, just doing like a normal TV service. So I guess there was an App Store outage, which I didn't know about until today, because I actually don't have like an iDevice that I use that much anymore. Apple loses or is losing $2 million per hour with the App Store outage. Let's see. Just okay. Several of Apple services. Go ahead.
I was just. You can go ahead and read that. Sorry.
Several of Apple services, including iTunes and its App Store, have been down for nearly 7 hours. I don't know when this was being done, so this was earlier today. With reports of outages first coming in at 5 a.m. Eastern this morning. On Apple's status page, the App Store, iTunes, iBooks, and the Mac App Store are all listed as unavailable for all users. According to a report on ZDNet, Apple is losing around $2.2 billion. God dang it. Why do I keep saying billion? $2.2 million US dollars every hour the sites are down. Earlier in the morning, the Apple Cloud services were also affected, according to the Apple support page. iCloud Mail and iCloud sign-in and account and sign-in functionality were down until just before 9 a.m. Eastern. Talks about the recent Apple Watch, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Looks like as of 4 o'clock, or around 5 o'clock actually, my times have been about 2.5 hours ago. Looks like they came back up. I'm curious how they lose money from that being down. I wonder if they're talking about potential sales?
I think that's probably how it was. So, just like they normally make this much money off the App Store and iTunes.
Can you imagine $2.2 million an hour? If that's what
for a company that's making billions.
No, I'm sure, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. You're just what they're doing is just providing. I mean, I'll tell you what. It's kind of common sense, but it just goes to show you that sometimes creating the actual work is not always like the most lucrative. It's creating the way to get there, or for people to experience it. You know, like making the movie, not so much. Making the movie theater, yeah. There's just I don't know. So it's just it's crazy because, you know, it's just like Apple Netflix facilitating a place for other apps and other music and other, you know, I'm sure that the 2.2 million isn't all their MacBooks and stuff being sold. It's probably shares that they get through everything else. I mean, they take let's see, I used to sell stuff through iTunes. I'm pretty sure they take a 70% cut when you sell. It's quite a bit. They take a very large cut when you sell things. I only made like 44 cents per song, I think, for songs that sold at like $1.20 or something like that. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, they take a pretty big cut. It may not be 70%, but it's pretty high. And then if you're an actual musician who's got a manager, they're probably taking a cut, and a label's taking a cut too. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Crazy though, $2 million per hour that they're gaining.
Because I know, I woke up this morning and I buy a few songs on iTunes every now and then. Usually it's like impulse buying.
Sure.
And I'm like, I want to listen to this song right now. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go buy it.
I've done that a lot.
And then, like yesterday, I bought 2 Rage Against the Machine songs.
Okay. I saw you post about one.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it yet.
It got me amped. Have you heard that song?
I haven't. I don't... What was the name of it?
Born of a Broken Man.
Okay, I haven't heard that one. I'll tell you what one got me amped real quick before we continue. It was it called Maggie's Farm?
Oh, yeah.
It was at the end of The Other Guys. And that was when I first heard it. And I was like, that's Rage? Because I'm not a huge Rage fan, but I heard it. And I was like, damn, that song's awesome. Very good. Very fun, whatever. But, I mean, yeah. So, anyways, go ahead. So, Rage Against the Machine, amping you up.
But for some reason, with my phone jailbroken, something's goofy with it where it thinks it's like the storage is like almost near full at times. When I really have 3 gigs free. But every now and then it'll just like freak out and think it's full, and then it'll like randomly just like delete a few of my songs when I'm connected to Wi-Fi.
That's awful.
Because when connected to Wi-Fi, like all the songs I've bought will still stream.
Sure.
So it just like kind of just erases it, which drives me nuts. I don't know what's causing it. And so like this morning going to work, I went to play that song. I was like, what? So I just went to like download it like before I left, and then I kept checking, and it was like circling like it was downloaded. And I was like, what the heck? What's going on? And so I
no dice because
turned off my phone, and I tried signing out of iTunes. So I tried to sign back in, it couldn't connect, and I was like, I just want to listen to this song. Come on,
I will do whatever I can. Come on, Apple.
And then I get to work, and I check a thread on Reddit or Apple, and a bunch of other people were having across the world. Like, it was a global outage.
Wow.
And it's like, well, I guess it's not just me. So I was like, I mean, I feel a little bit better about that.
Right. At least everyone else is suffering with me.
Yeah. And then I got to thinking, I was like, that means like developers can't put out updates for their apps. Like if they had a release, they wanted to release today, couldn't. Yeah. And then even Apple stores, because like they do all their stuff through Apple products. Like they were using pen and pencil to write down, like make appointments and all that stuff.
That's crazy.
And they were using like those old credit card machines where like you lay it down and you just run a thing over, like imprints the number and all that.
That's funny. Things that taxi drivers used to use. That's funny.
Yeah.
Poor Apple. As if they don't have enough money as it is, overcharging for all their products. But it's back up now, so at least we're good about that. I'm going to let me think here. We're going to talk about the Apple Watch. Here's a would you rather for you. Would you rather skip in other news, or would you rather? Which one would you rather skip, or which one would you rather do?
Do you have a preference?
I honestly don't. Both are...
Alright. Pick heads or tails.
I just watched The Dark Knight the other night. It's very Harvey Dent of you to have this all rely on the coin.
This is what it comes down to.
I'm going to say heads.
Alright. So just to make it clear, heads, we skip would you rather. Tails, we skip in other news.
Okay. So wait, hold on. Why did
Tails, we're skipping another news.
Okay, I get it. I was like, why did you have me pick heads or tails if you chose the heads, so you're having me pick which one went to which one?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, why did he ask me if he then just goes, well, anyway, heads is... and flips it?
No,
okay.
I was going to say heads, like, whichever one you said was we're skipping.
Okay. Makes sense.
We're skipping another news.
Alrighty. We, let's see. Do we even have any good ones of those? Let me check real quick. I don't think we do.
Good one.
Yeah, I didn't really find a ton of good ones today, except for Applebee's beats a lawsuit claiming fajitas burned a man while praying. That seemed interesting. I'll leave these on and we'll talk about these
just
Saturday.
Just say the titles to all these articles, then we'll go to Would You Rather, just to kind of just leave it up in the air.
And then you can Google if you are so inclined to figure out more. So anyways, Apple dropped the big bomb this week on on the Apple. Oh my gosh, it's going to autoplay. Stop it. On their new watch, the Apple Watch. Oh my gosh, it's still autoplaying. Here we go. Not the iWatch or anything like that, just the Apple Watch. This says during today's press event, this would have been 2 days ago. During today's press event, Apple took the lid off the upcoming Apple Watch. When the device launches on April 24th, you can expect a number of features working in Congress with the company's iOS and Mac ecosystem. Price ranges from $350 all the way up to $10,000. Apple claims every Apple Watch is super accurate within 50 milliseconds of UTC. And speaking of speed, the new Glances feature allows you to check notifications, the weather, or even your heart rate with just one swipe. Now, there's a couple of different variations here. I'm not going to... I'll go over price ranges maybe and some features, but we won't talk too deeply about it. Says, of course, Apple Watch will also contain a number of communication options working with the just announced iOS 8.2. You can receive iMessages as well as voice calls like Dick Tracy. But one of the newest features is digital touch, which allows you to communicate with friends from Apple Watch to Apple Watch, even sending doodles that you can make on the watch face. Apple Watch will communicate with your iPhone either through Wi-Fi or through Bluetooth. An Apple Watch app for iPhone will be available for the App Store. Apple played up the health and exercise benefits of the Apple Watch during today's event, pointing out the device will send helpful reminders for your exercise routine. Of course, the workout app will track your daily movement and deliver stats like calories burned and miles traveled. Apple claim... Let's see, what? No, this is not true. I've seen an updated article about this. It says here, Apple claims the Apple Watch should last for about 18 hours. And charging is simple thanks to a magnetic charger, which I don't know what that means. But I could have swore I saw an article yesterday that said the Apple Watch was supposedly only able to hold a 3-hour charge. Which, yeah, blows your mind.
Stupid.
Hold on. Let me make sure I didn't get that article from, like, The Onion. Let's see. Apple 3-hour charge. This is talking about... Let's see. Apple Watch. Okay, so here we go. 1 day ago. This is at geek.com. I don't know how reputable this is. Will it last for 8 hours or 18 hours like Tim Cook said, or just 3 hours like a wild rumor that popped up a few weeks back? It depends on what you're doing with it. Apple has put together a battery guide page that explains things you are pre-warned about when the charge is going to be due. As it turns out, the abysmal 3-hour estimate was right on the money, it says here. For one specific use. If you're using Apple Watch for phone calls, that's how much talk time you can expect. So yeah, if you're not talking into your communicator device like a phone, then you can expect probably closer to the 10 to 15 hour range, I would imagine, which is more than fine. If I wore a watch, I would only need it for 8 hours for the time I was at work, and then I would come home, and then usually my phone is always right next to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 hours call time isn't awful, to be honest.
No, I mean,
sitting there talking on your
Bluetooth
watch the whole
devices.
time, you got 3 hours? Crap. That's crazy.
I'm on Apple's Apple Watch battery page right now.
Okay.
And the 18 hours is using the following use: 90 time checks, 90 notifications, 45 minutes of app use, and a 30-minute workout with music playing.
That's not bad. That seems
over
like
the course of 18 hours.
I mean, the 30-minute thing and the 45 minutes of app use. I mean, if I had 45 minutes of app use, given it's a smaller device, but if I did 45 minutes of app use on my phone right now, I would kill the battery. You know, I wouldn't even get 5 hours out of it if I sat here for 5 hours. So interesting. I did also hear that supposedly the Apple Watch will only allow 10-second intervals on its apps. It was just an article I had seen that said that the apps were going to be limited to, like, if you wanted to check something, you would have to load it up, and you had 10 seconds. Supposedly, was what they were allowing developers, was that your app has a 10-second window before the thing goes. Let me look this up again, because I don't want to be talking out of my ass here. Apple Watch, 10 seconds. Okay, here we go. So this is from 6 days ago. It says Apple doesn't want you to spend a lot of time with watch apps, specifically if you're looking at your Cupertino device adorned wrist for more than 10 seconds. That isn't ideal. In addition to quick bursts of info, watch apps also use location services, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't talk about specifics, to be honest. Let's see. So, okay, here's Wired.com. Let me see. Let me find in page. Oops. Let me find this. 10. Let's see. Same utility is not so useful for app developers. If monetizing is hard, monetizing actions is even harder if ads are, let's see. And that's nothing to say of the 10-second limit Apple suggests for any watch-based interaction. So, okay, so 10 seconds.
They just suggest it.
Well, okay, so I don't know if that means that they're suggesting, like, don't use it for more than 10 seconds, or if they're saying that they're thinking about imposing a 10-second thing on it. Who knows? Especially if you're having phone calls for 3 hours long, how are you going to manage that for 10 seconds?
And like 45 minutes of app use of 10 seconds?
So that's what I was kind of thinking. That's what it popped up in my head. Like, dang, that's a lot. So there's a couple different models. Or go ahead. Do you have something else to say there?
I was going to say that's like using an app 400 times.
Yeah. Couple different models here. Apple Watch Sport. Aluminum body, and will be available in space gray and silver as $350 for the 38 millimeter version, and $400 for the 42 millimeter. I guess I'm not going to talk about colors too much here. I guess just the different types. The Apple Watch Steel, which kind of looks cool. The stainless steel variety of the Apple Watch is 80% harder and more resistant to scratches. $550 at the low price, and $600 to $1,100 depending on the watch band and the model. There's the Apple Watch Edition model, which is the very limited third version of the Apple Watch. Is clearly not for the general public. It says boasting an 18-karat solid gold body. The edition will start at $10,000. I saw
start at $10,000.
Yes, that's what it claims.
I thought that was like I saw an article just saying the price range from like $350 to $10,000. I thought $10,000 was like the highest tier of the fanciest.
Just
watch
says it will start.
Not
this
base model of the fanciest watch you get. So like, there's
I don't know.
So much money.
I did see a joke today. I believe it was on Twitter. Someone said Apple will charge you $10,000 to get a gold watch. They'll charge you $100 to paint it silver so no one steals it. Something like that. It was kind of funny.
And then in 2 years, when they release the Apple iWatch 2, it's obsolete.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they've got different models is kind of hilarious to me, but whatever. To each their own. You get an Apple, get an Apple Watch, and I'm sure it'll be fun. I haven't yet seen the reason. Goddamn, let me keep being an amateur podcaster and hitting my wind guard here.
Stop that!
I haven't.
Come on, this is an amateur.
I haven't had the desire yet to get a smartwatch, so I'm not really sure where I sit on any kind of smartwatch.
I mean, I wore the most. I guess if you count it a watch, but I wore a Nike Fuel Band for like a week. But it tracked steps.
Right.
It told time. That was it.
Yeah.
I was I sit in front of a desk when I'm at work, and if I'm at home, I have my phone on me. I was like,
yeah.
I don't care how many steps I take.
Yeah.
I lift weights to burn calories, and that's like not stepping at all.
Yeah, it's not gonna be able to track that. Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm just not sold on it completely, and I'm Mr. Technology guy, you know? I mean, I'm into that thing, and I still can't find a reason for why I should have a smartwatch. If other people can find it, that's perfectly cool. I'm not ragging on it. It's just for me, I haven't yet reached that point. Well, we have one last thing before we're out of here. Let's do some Would You Rathers. Seems to be a fan favorite here. Once again, I don't have any sound clip ready for this, so we'll just do our let's see, let's do
that one.
When I felt them, they were perfect.
And you can't kill a person with no body.
And then
Wet your whistle.
Okay, we're wetting our whistles right now. Here we go. Would you rather Okay. This one's just kind of outrageous. Would you rather sleep next to a serial killer for the rest of your life, or live in a haunted house for the rest of your life?
Like a legit haunted house, or like
Legitimate-
just something they say?
Yeah, not like oh, you think it's haunted because you thought you heard something, but it wasn't really. It's like, no, it's haunted. Like during this podcast, I have no idea if that door is going to shut, but I know that it could because this place is haunted as hell. Or every night you sleep next to someone who's a serial murderer.
I'd go haunted house.
Okay.
'Cause I mean,
I'm trying to think if the serial killer would kill you.
I'm like, a serial killer's he listens to his impulses a lot. He trusts his instincts, which aren't very good, but it leads to killing. And I would rather, like, if something's haunted, I'll just make sure I don't piss it off.
I guess.
Be like, hey, what do you want me to do? You want to bring you some fresh meat?
I will paint you up. I will make the walls look nice.
I'll plant a garden. I'll fix it. I'll renovate the bathroom. Get new tile.
I guess if we're going on the chance that the serial killer would kill you, or at least has the chance to, maybe the haunted house has the chance to kill you.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man. Can you imagine? I wonder if you'd get used to it. Can you? Like, I'm
like if you know it's haunted, you can try to make friends with the ghost.
I guess.
Or you can try to exorcise it. I mean, then again, if I'm sleeping next to a serial killer, I know he's a serial killer. Let's fight back.
Be nice to him at least, maybe. Or like, I don't know, maybe he'd get you in on the serial killing.
Make him cookies?
Yeah, maybe he'd make you like the getaway driver on stuff. I mean, you don't have getaway drivers on serial killings, do you?
It's like, hey man, can you come pick me up? It's 4:30 in the morning. I know. Crazy night.
Right outside the neighbor's house. Actually, then you wouldn't need to drive. That was a dumb joke. Alrighty, well then, let's go with living in a haunted house. Wow. 63,000 people voted. 64% said that they would rather sleep next to a serial killer. 36%.
Wow.
64% of those people are crazy, to paraphrase our last... Oh gosh, that stuff cracks me up. So yeah, weird. More people are more scared of a haunted house than they are the serial killer.
That's crazy. I got one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you rather be Batman in the world of Batman, including like fighting supervillains and all that,
Okay.
and the money, or be a random nobody in Hufflepuff from Harry Potter, but you don't ever interact with Harry Potter and you don't do anything special? You're just a wizard.
Oh my gosh, Batman, 100%. Oh my gosh, my ties with Harry Potter are not that deep, so screw Hufflepuff. But so okay, so yeah, I guess the trade-off is that you're rich and you're intelligent and you're Batman, or you're nobody but you can use magic.
I mean, you're not necessarily like in the Harry Potter universe. You're not nothing like super special or a stud.
You're special in your own way. Wizard. You're maybe in a spin-off book, but you're not in the books.
Yeah, like maybe you played in a Quidditch match against Harry Potter, but.
I'm still going Batman. That suit, man. I still want to wear that suit. Not to mention all that money. Okay, wow, that one's depressing. Let's not do that one. Would you rather... Okay, here we go. This one's stupid. Would you rather have a stuffy nose or a sore throat? Stuffed nose or a sore throat?
I'd go stuffy nose.
I think I would too, because sore throat, stuffy nose, you're kind of blowing your nose and you can't breathe and it's annoying, but you can still eat, you can still talk, you can still do other things. Whereas sore throat, you really start to like notice that you're sick, I feel like, when you when you can't, like when it hurts to eat and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, I had that a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago. It was awful. I think I would take. Oh, I almost didn't click it. I think I would take the stuffy nose. So we'll click stuffy nose here. 74,000 people voted. 67% said that they would rather have a stuffy nose. 33% on the sore throat. No surprise there, really. Let's pick one more before we close out of here.
Okay.
Oh boy. That's a dumb one. I'm not even gonna ask that one.
All right. I got one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
We can do two if we want. But would you rather double your lifespan or be able to think and process things twice as fast?
The second one. I would rather
To be able to have like a higher clock speed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd rather overclock my brain if I could. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be neat? As long as I could still, I don't want to be like the guy that's like on cocaine or something. Where you're just like, oh yeah. So then you're like just twitch and just. I would rather still be able to be like, yes, that is a good thing to do when you're whatever, and be able to just do it at normal speed.
Be eloquent.
Yeah, it was like a very Andy Dwyer thing of me to say right there from Parks and Rec, because he's like, I do have that thing in the back
I do have that thing you asked for as the day before the other one.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, no, I totally would rather have the clock speed. Double the lifespan would be interesting, I guess. But man, you'd have to live 2 lifetimes and lose your friends at one point. And who's going to be friends with you when you're 100? You're really like 50. I mean, it just, I don't know. Not saying that being old's bad, but I would rather be more efficient now than live 2 lifetimes. Unless living 2 lifetimes meant I get to see the time of like super technology and like cars, like flying cars and taking teleporters to work and shit. That would be sweet. I would consider it then. I would consider it. No, I might actually still go with the overclocked brain, because that seems like a really cool tool to have.
I like referring to it as overclock.
All right, great. Well, that'll be it. Nice little compact show tonight. We've been going long on some of our shows lately. It's kind of nice to have a nice short one. We'll get off. We can have dinner. We can shower and finally relax.
Play some DC.
Play some DC. You getting on? You thinking about getting on?
Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. Well, I know Keith's been waiting to play, and as soon as we're done, we can hop on that and fight some villains. They have some actually. They're doing St. Patrick's Day stuff right now, so you can get Keith was telling me you can get like pub-based things for your base. Like I don't know if that means like a bar and like bar stools or something. It sounds awesome. So. All right, well, let's kill the jazz and do this as they say in the business.
Give me a little love.
Give me a little love. Ways to help out the show. If you're listening in, you're like, wow, that was kind of a cool show, or it was all right, but I'll at least spread the word. Tell your friends about it. Share our stuff on Facebook. Any of that helps, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Just share it. It helps. If you want to find out how you can sponsor a segment, I know I hate commercials, but I do love your sponsors. Go to our website, figure out how you can do those. Support our Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com/streamthemachine. Just go there and become a supporter. You don't even have to donate. Just go there, click become a supporter. It'll ask you if you want to donate. You can donate if you want to be nice, but you don't have to. You can, not that not donating makes you not nice, but if you're feeling particularly generous, go ahead and donate. Otherwise, just become a supporter. Email in your music.
It's the equivalent of a like on Facebook.
It really is. It just helps us out so other people, when they go there, they can be like, oh, okay, well, these guys seem not bad. What is it? Okay, sorry, I was totally thrown off guard there. Music, send in your music. We got some good stuff coming up this Saturday. So we're still on schedule for this Saturday. We're going to have some music from Tony. We're going to have music from the guy that I work with. A little preview. I don't know. I guess I won't divulge anymore, but we will have some of his music, so we can get some original stuff on the show. Follow us on Twitter. I've been checking Twitter and occasionally replying to people. I don't actually post much, but I usually get on, and usually my nephew or Tony has said something that I'll respond to, and then I don't check Twitter again for like 2 weeks. I'm just kind of like making guest appearances here and there.
I'm going to look you up on Twitter
I don't
right now to see.
I don't even know. Tell me what the last thing I said was, as long as it's not vulgar. Because I don't think it would be.
Let's see.
At Redefine Jack.
Besides all the check out my broadcast from my PlayStation 4.
Oh.
There's a lot of that.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Because, yeah, I forgot. Every time I'm tied into Twitter, so every time I start the stream on PS4. So I guess my account's not totally dead.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to read your last 3 real tweets. March 2nd. Looking for a good DCUO league to join. Want to raid and do high-level content. Only level 34 at the moment.
I'm actually level 57.
I'm level 18. Now. So you can shut your mouth.
We'll get you up there.
See, I talk too much for Twitter to be useful on December 7th.
Yeah, that's most of my problem is I want to say more than 140 characters.
Well, okay. Oh, that was just your own tweets. Let's do tweets and replies.
Don't do the last one with me and my nephew. That one's...
Okay. Let's see. Oh, me, March 2nd. I said I actually like cold showers. Is that so weird? And I took some for a short while in 2012. It's like an adrenaline shot.
It really was. It was awesome.
I have a hard time manning up to do them now. You know what's really awesome?
Uh-huh.
Speaking of showers.
Okay.
At night with the lights off.
You know what? I've done that before.
It's kind of cool.
I've done that. No light showers. I've actually done that for a couple of dumps too. I go in there.
Those are good.
I just turn off the lights and I'm like, it's so peaceful in here. Yeah. So I've started to kind of you know what I do actually? I use Twitter when IGN I've already read and I don't have anything to look at on Reddit, which usually isn't very often, and I've already looked up everything on Facebook and there's nothing to say on GChat to anybody and I'm not having any conversations on Facebook with anybody. So I'm like, finally, I guess I'll go look at Twitter because I know I have like a week worth of stuff to look up. But yeah. Or you can follow Tony at Tony DePalma51. He says entertaining things most of the time. You can also find our show at STM Podcast. Really just tells you when we go live. And damn it, I forgot about MixLR again. Every time I get to this point, because MixLR, when I start MixLR, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if the Twitch stream actually posts to Twitter or not.
Let's see.
You check it out. I'm going to say here, our website, if you didn't already know, is streamthemachine.com. Go there and check it out. I'm actually kind of scared about the website because I was trying to get in contact with the guy who hosts it, because it's a guy back home. I need to pay him money to have it re-up for the second year, and I have not been in contact with him. I sent him a message, and I was like, hey, I want to pay you. Let me know how I can do this. And he hasn't gotten back to me. I really hope that it's either A, not going to charge him the $50 automatically, or B, that he hasn't already like cut the cord and just is waiting for the year to go up. So then one day we're just... SOL. Because I mean, we could honestly, we could still continue with the podcast. I could figure out my own way to host it, but it'd be a pain in something to get started again.
Pain in something.
Does it post to the show Twitter?
Twitch?
Yes.
Does not.
Bummer.
All it is YouTube and MixLR.
Yeah, I really need to set something up for that.
And then, is there ever a tweet that is not of the show? We'll play your music on the show and announce any important info about your band/music. If there's a heavy profanity, we prefer a radio edit. January 17th.
Yep. So, hey, not too long ago, I guess, 2 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check out our Twitter. I'll get better at MixLR. I need to have a checklist I go down every day. This is so stupid. I forget it. It's pissing me off. Want to thank everybody for their help. I have on here that I'm supposed to thank Ross. I'm not going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in New Hampshire this week. I didn't mention that at the top of the show, which is why we don't have a Karma Fight. He's actually going to be out this Saturday as well. So we'll probably run Saturday a little longer. I wanted to keep tonight kind of short just because it's a weeknight and we've got stuff we want to do and everyone's got stuff they want to do.
Still got an hour and a half.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, Tony, for being an awesome co-host, always being there, providing entertainment, and helping us produce such an awesome show. This Saturday is episode 48. We are 2 episodes away. Well, 3 episodes, I guess, from our super show, which is coming up. I think. So let's see, 48. Next week is going to start crunch time for figuring out exactly what we're going to do and making final schedules. I wanted to take the week before to finally, and maybe actually this weekend, to sit down and get it done. And, take the week after that to kind of make sure everything's still in place. There's still little maybes going on with what's going on, but for the most part, we have the show kind of set up, or at least I've got ideas for what I want to do, so we'll see what we can do about it then. That is it. That is going to do it for us. We don't have any outro music, so I'm going to play that rare Fly Science podcasting that no one ever gets to hear because we normally have a song to play us out normally. So, Tony, thank you. I'll be seeing you soon. We'll be fighting bad dudes. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in live, catch us on Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central.
9:30.
Sorry, totally forgot what way the clock went. So I have this for you.
Well, that asshole.
And the end of the show. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good night.
This has been a Fly Science Productions podcast.
Oh, wait.
Get him!